UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
To all who listen to this happy podcast, this is Mickey's Marvels on the United Federation of Podcast Network.
You can contact the network at contact@ufp.earth, on Twitter at UFPEarth, and on Facebook. Also, remember, check out one of our sponsors, Cuts by Magic, on Facebook. If you use the code Mickey's Marvels, you will get 10% off your order. That goes for new customers and existing.
Coming to you not from our usual podcast palace, but on a stolen shuttle on the way back. I'm your host, Tribz, and join with me always is my good friend, Magic. Pat, do you happen to have those plans that we brought back? I left my copy behind.
I handed mine off to this beautiful young princess. I gave mine to her.
We'll have to do everything else, but we'll have to tell them all by memory then.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how this is going to work, but there was this dude in a black suit, showed up with a red sword, and we just kind of panicked.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You panicked and I ran. That's basically how that went. Listeners, we are coming to you from a galaxy far away, and not sometime a long while from now, we will be discussing Star Wars Rogue One in celebration of Galaxy's Edge, open in California and now in Florida. Pat, I know you've got to be excited for your upcoming trip, are you not?
Oh, come on. I've already booked. I told you, I already booked the 2 droids to build. I did find out you were correct. I was wrong. The book bags are $50 a piece. But guess who's buying 2 of them? And because I ain't carrying one of those things around. So I can't wait. I'll be going couple months now. I'm already got all my fast passes set up and everything, thanks to my wife. She does all the hard work on that, but she stayed up till 1 o'clock in the morning and did all our fast passes and everything else, and we added like 3 more days to the trip, and we're out of control. But we're driving down, so we'll just leave earlier now.
Yeah, I thought I saw the clipboard fun on the social medias.
Well, you saw what happened with that, right?
Yeah, I heard.
She lost it. The day we were supposed to do Fast Pass, she's like, "Where's my clipboard?" I was like, "I have no idea." So she stayed up and she redid the whole thing. Did a great job. She always does a great job with that. And drove herself a little crazy there for a couple hours trying to reset it all. But look, we have a great trip coming up. I don't remember really many. I know I'll be doing Dinosaur. She'll be doing Tower of Terror. One of my kids will do Tower of Terror. One of my kids will do Rock and Roller Coaster because the way the Fast Pass is set up. There's a bunch of, Galaxy's Edge, the Millennium. We got Star Tours as our Fast Pass because you can't Fast Pass the new rides. There's no Fast Passes for those. So we're going to rope drop the park real early in the morning and get on it then. And, so we'll see what happens. I always enjoyed, I know Star Tours is not new or exciting at this point, but it's a fun ride. And I rode it when I was a kid, when it was the original just 3 scenes, and that was all it was. And now I kind of miss those 3 scenes because I never get them anymore, even though they're still in there. But so we'll see what I get for this one, and I'll come back with a nice report when I'm back from that trip.
And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure the listeners will be too. And it's funny that you're going to be doing the new ride and then Star Tours, because this film that we're discussing is kind of a new film, but ties into what we would call the original of the original 3.
Oh, absolutely. So I want to get into that when we get into the movie. Sure. So we'll hold that off till after the news. But there's certain things I want to talk about what that Disney has done with these new movies that are so much better than episodes 1, 2, and 3, and that I like so much more. But we'll get into that later.
Sure, absolutely. And before we get too deep inside the enemy base to discuss the film, we want to give a shout out to the hosts of the Disney Crush podcast. Host Dave Youngenward, or Jungle Ward, and Tony and Ciano Zarcone bring you upcoming news and events surrounding Disney World in Florida, along with personal experiences. Pat, your take on their podcast.
Well, first, I thought he butchered your name until I heard you butcher his.
Hey, one good turn deserves another.
he has to now say your name again even worse to make up for what you just did to him.
You know,
no, the two of them are great. They, if you're looking for info on going to Disney World, or you're looking for just more news section, like we have a small news section, but if you're looking for bigger news, more park-related news, tips and tricks, how to get down there for cheaper, stuff like that, this is your podcast. Disney Crush Podcast is phenomenal. My wife and I have been listening to them for a while. They have a good following, but more importantly, they have good information, and they're two good people. They're really fun to listen to because you can tell they enjoy doing this podcast together.
kind of like us, we enjoy podcasting together ourselves, yet we have a lot of fun. I started listening around episode 90, and each and every episode, they make me want to make plans to go down to Disney, and they're so knowledgeable in what they talk about. It's just absolutely what a great podcast. I can't agree. If you're looking forward to a Disney World trip, or you'd like to go, or you're going, please subscribe to that channel, listen to that back catalog, listen to the current podcast. You will be well informed.
Yeah, look, even if you're not planning on going anytime soon, or you haven't gone in a little while, listening to a podcast like theirs can make you feel like you're in that bubble for the hour you're listening or whatever, So, one of the reasons why myself and my wife, or I should say my wife and myself, listen to those kind of podcasts is because it keeps you connected with the Disney community, and they're great ambassadors for that, and they're really good at doing podcasts.
And while I apologize to you, Dave, for butchering or slaughtering your last name, it's all in good fun. And we can't wait to get you guys on the show.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be doing that. They'll be coming here. We'll be going there, and soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Get your news here. Hear all about it.
And now it's time for the news. This week's news just breaking. This one's titled, Spider-Man's Back. After briefly breaking up, Sony Pictures and Marvel have found the way to get back in the Spider-Man business together. On Friday, the two companies jointly announced that Marvel Studios and its president, Kevin Feige, will produce the third film in the Spider-Man Homecoming series. It'll once again feature Tom Holland, reprising his role as the titular hero. The rumor mill roared back to life this week with hints that the two companies were close to brokering a new agreement. A new film is scheduled for release July 16th, 2021. I am excited. We've covered this news for the last 3 podcasts. Like you said on the last one, it's great when you know they're talking, and now we have a final. Patrick.
Right. I mean, look, first podcast we did, they broke up. Second podcast we did, there was rumors they were talking. Third podcast we did, now they're together again. Or at least, well, that's technically not true because we did 2 recordings at once. But whatever, you get the point. The first time we recorded, we did that. I remember saying it when this first broke, that I thought this was just all tactics. This was all business tactics, and that they would find a way to come to the table and get something done. I'm glad I was right. I'm no genius. Most people thought that this was what was going to happen, and but you still worry because you never know. If things break down and it's just a tactic, if both sides won't budge, then that tactic turns into the end game. And luckily, that's not what happened here, and we will be getting our Spider-Man back.
You said end game, Marvel, end game.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, so I also read, just want to bring this out there, is they're looking to bring in characters that's never been seen. Like we had Vulture in Homecoming, we had Mysterio in Far From Home, and wait for it, they're actually talking that there may be Kraven the Hunter to be coming back for the third one.
And they're also talking about bringing Venom back.
Yes, because the two with Sony and Marvel,
MCU
yeah.
now.
But
Right.
this actually furthers my theory, like I was talking about for Sinister Six.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
That's exactly where this is going.
Exactly. So I really can't wait for this film. I'm glad the talks are over. I'm glad they finally reached an agreement, and here's to 2021. Our second segment, I'm wishing, off of MickeyBlog.com, it looks like Disney will go back to the wishing well as it looks to bolster its live-action lineup. A live-action Snow White remake is in the works. Patrick?
I mean, look, I have a tattoo of Snow White. I mean, a baby Snow White for my daughter, but I love Snow White, so I cannot wait for a live-action Snow White.
I know this is one of your favorite. I know this is one of your favorite movies of all time. So
it really is, and again, there's a backstory to that, but and it has to do with the cruise. But no, I love Snow White, and that's the first princess. Without her, we don't have what Disney is today, in theory. But more importantly, I didn't like some of these live actions, but Aladdin was phenomenal, and I'm expecting the same treatment for Aladdin that for Snow White that Aladdin got. I expect this to be a phenomenal live action movie. I'm also can't wait for, speaking of live actions in general, there's a little topic of Snow White, but November 12th, we're going to get the network, and the network's going to have a live action Lady and the Tramp, and I just saw new pictures. If you Google, they actually show you Lady and the Tramp. We had talked about Tramp, where they got Tramp last time, but I mean, Lady looks just like my Cocker Spaniels, so it's awesome.
Oh, did they have the iconic scene, or was it just them together?
There was just pictures of the dogs.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't anything from the movie. It was like a press conference with, like the Disney backdrop,
kind of an
like
unveiling
stand-up backdrop thing. Yeah, like when they walk the red carpet, it just says the sponsors on the back and stuff. It was one of those. But the dogs are adorable. So
yeah, I can't wait. You said it best. These live action movies, it's coming back. For Disney, it's a comeback. It's let's go one step further, and they can't go wrong with doing another classic such as Snow White. And I'd like to see what the rest of the live action lineup looks like. I know Mulan is one, Little Mermaid is another. Yeah, Little Mermaid is another. But as far as Snow White, they're starting to cast, and they're looking to 2020 to film this and make this happen. So good on Disney.
Yep, can't wait.
Unless you've been under a rock, this article's titled, "And the Band Might Be Back Together Again." If you've been living under a rock, like I was saying before, you may have heard a familiar laugh at the Rise of Skywalker trailer. That's right, Emperor Palpatine is heard at the end of the Rise of Skywalker trailer. So what does this mean? Emperor Palpatine is back. Is he back? Is it a Force ghost? Who knows? Here's my theory. We all saw him tumble down the long shaft when he died. Here's what I think. He did a Greg Louganis triple half gainer, triple Lindy.
Cow sow.
All the way down, and then does the Return of the Jedi Luke grab on the springboard, comes back up, and walks away when everybody else is going and lives in seclusion. So there's a lot of talk going around with Palpatine back and mixed feelings and how this is going to affect Rise of Skywalker and how it's going to bring it all to a close. I'll just read a quote from J.J. Abrams himself. Quote, "Some people feel like we shouldn't revisit the idea of Palpatine, and I completely understand that. But if you're looking at the 9 films as one story, I don't know many books where the last few chapters have nothing to do with those that have come before. If you look at the first 8 films, all the setups of what were in 9 are there in plain view." So this is going to be a interesting close to this saga of Star Wars. Patrick, what do you think?
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I don't know where they're going with this, but I think whether it's a Force ghost or if he's actually still alive, as long as they explain it, they can't go wrong. One of the problems is when you bring characters back from the dead and you don't explain how they came back, it's implausible because you didn't give me a plausible reason. I can't figure it out myself, so you were supposed to do that for me. As long as they give us a reason, it'll be great.
And that's kind of true because there are some, even in TV shows, where the one of the main characters come back, and there's no rhyme or reason, but they make a backstory to it, and it kind of pulls you back into the story, and so be it for that character, be it good or bad, whatever winds up, it still makes that story actually